Hey everybody, welcome to Living a Healthy Lifestyle Show with your favorite holistic health coach, Carrie Kay. And I just want to welcome a beautiful soul to the show today. Rebekah and I have known each other for a couple of years. God brought us together. We have created shows together. She has the Chatty Audie show. She helps autistic children. She also helps the mothers of autistic children to help their children to grow. And I just want to welcome you to the show, Rebekah. Rebekah, tell us a little bit about you.
So, as you said, I'm a life coach and also the host of the Chatty Audie show, specifically the type of life coach I am, because life coach is very well known and popular these days. But I'm a certified trauma-informed professional mental health life coach. And I also work in disability advocacy as well. And then also the Chatty Audie show that I just recently started up again this year, which is really exciting. And it's already got picked up by Empower Me TV network. It was on Q Vision network. It's on Healthy Living Lifestyle show. So the Lord's been blessing me very much. I also travel with my husband whenever we are supposed to be in the traveling part of this ministry. But we actually recently just settled in upstate New York doing on the road RV ministry. So now we have an RV camp ministry. So there's a lot of growth happening and changes happening with that. And I also am into holistic wellness. The Lord led me down this path. I had never really any interest in it before, but then He showed me this is where I need to be. So yeah, I'm a busy person. I do a lot. Oh, and Lady Gadget. I have also a business on technical side of things, tech support, and working with businesses for any kind of business support, organization, stuff like that. So just so many different things that I do. I'm called a polypreneur. That's the new word I learned this year.
Yeah, I'm one of those too. It's where you are multi-talented.
Yes.
You're doing a lot of things.
Yes.
God gives us. But I want to get started with the healing part of your story. You've been through a lot. I had been telling you about, the patch. I'd been telling you about the things that would help you, and you finally jumped on board. And it's crazy because when you first started using it, I think it was like the week that you got into a bike accident.
Yes.
And that helped you so much to heal your wounds. But what else is going on with you? Like, what have you gone through that has gotten you to this point of healing in your ministry too? It's been a lot.
So let's just say if God wants to use you, and I was just reminded today, I was talking to my pastor today about it. When He wants to use you, He breaks you first. He breaks you down and He empties you. And then He rebuilds you. So a huge part of my story is just being emptied out to be more available, more pliable. That idea of being taken on a wheel, like a potter's wheel, right? That we have that biblical example on how the Lord is the potter and we are the clay. And my life literally marks that, just being stuck as a little thing of clay and God going, I want to use your life. I want to do whatever I want with it. Do you give me permission? Because He does ask us permission, right? He doesn't force us into anything. And when I said yes, that's when things just started. It started with my divorce that was very unexpected. Which then led me down a path of extreme grief that I did not know I would have at that level. Then I ended up getting the wonderful thing we're not allowed to say on air, the JAB.
Right, the jab. Yep.
Yeah. Ended up getting that because I was going to lose a home and lose a job, coming right out of a divorce and trying to get back on my feet again. And then that just killed my neurological cognitive functioning to where I was starting to lose memories of my childhood, of my life. I was losing the ability to communicate. Couldn't find the words to say, right? It was just like every few words, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't even talk anymore. And it shut my voice down. I pulled back. I retreated a lot with people. I got social anxiety really bad, like worse than I did before. I already was an introvert. So add social anxiety on top of that, and it increased what I already had struggled with as a neurodivergent person. So my PTSD started returning, which I had kicked out the door. I had worked very hard on my PTSD diagnosis, and it started returning. I started getting flashbacks, getting panic attacks, anxiety attacks again, and I was like, no, devil. No, you're not coming into my life and doing this. You are not going to come in and wreck my life when I've got other things that God's already promised me, right? That He's going to do.
Amen.
So for 4 years, I prayed off and on, and was just, as I declined, I continued to decline in all these areas. My brain fog set in really bad. I couldn't concentrate, couldn't think. I had to pull back from my polypreneurism and pick just one thing, and that was the coaching. So I just developed my coaching business a bit more and continue to talk to the autistic community, and just what the best I could do, the bare minimum, right? I had to lay down the Chatty Audie show and my plans of restarting that. It was very difficult for me to have to lay down so many things that before I could juggle with no problem, right? Before all of this. But then I came across you after lots and lots of prayer. You came along, and it was very interesting because you were like, you need the patch. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm a kind of super skeptic person. I didn't know what holistic meant. I just saw this word out there, and I was like, nah, I think doctors are the only ones that can really help us. And I just need to find a better doctor, or, somebody else to help me. But I was going to some doctors and trying to get some other things taken care of, and realizing just this is not the route that I'm going to get my answers in. I was praying, and I'm like, is this what you're putting in front of me, Lord? Like, I'm trying to trust you in all things, and even in this, even through grief, even through how it challenged my faith with you. Because that was very hard to trust Him after He's stripping all of this stuff away. It felt like a Job situation, a Job story. If you guys have ever heard of that story, those of you who are watching this. So after a while, 2 years, I was stubborn. I'm just going to say I was stubborn.
But I kept talking to you.
You were so persistent and loving along the way. But I was like, okay, how much are these patches? What do I need to save up for? Because I didn't have a whole lot to work with. And she told me what they would do and how they would help. And I'm like, fine, I'm going to start putting a budget together for this. So I did. And within the first week, I had a very bad bike accident. And it was like bruises like this large on my leg, black and blue. I think the worst kind of bruising I've ever had in my entire life. And I didn't even think about it. But my patches had come in, and I started patching that week. And I didn't think about the effects of how it would heal my body so fast. So when I noticed that the black and the blue started to turn green within just a few days, I was like, wait a minute. That's what happens when your body's healing, right? When your bruises are healing. And normally I started asking people, how long does it take for a bruise? I'm showing them the picture. How long does it take for the bruise to go away? And they're like, oh, like a month, 2 months at best, and still you'll have a shadow. This thing was gone in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Completely gone. So then I started doing more research. What is happening with what are these patches doing? How are they supporting my body and my wellness? And I stayed on these things for 2 months, 3 months. And then I told Carrie, I'm ready to be a brand partner. I love this thing. Oh my word, has it helped me? My clarity of mind started coming back. The fog started going away. My social anxiety was getting better and better, and I could stand staying in rooms with crowds of people more. My sensitivities to sounds and things like that that normally were causing me to go into an anxiety attack, people around me were noticing the change. Like she's not going and hiding somewhere, right? Because even though that sounds strange, that's how I was dealing and coping with it. I would run into another room and be like gone for, an hour to reset my system because my nervous system was just all out of whack. Um, so yeah, I mean, I got these things gave me my life back. They gave me my voice back. I could then start the Chatty Audie show, which I did. As soon as I knew that my voice is back and I can have a conversation, I was like, time to start the Chatty Audie show again. And I could hear the Lord saying, it's time. Now it's time. I'm using this to heal your body, for your body to heal itself as a tool, right?
Yep.
But then I have these things that I want you to be doing after that. So I ended up getting into ministry class, enrolling in a ministry class with my pastor in my church. I ended up starting the Chatty Audie show. I got back into my life coaching more intentional with it. Got back into my Lady Gadget stuff again, into digital marketing, which, has been a passion of mine for a while. I've wanted to build something for 5 years now that I'm just now starting to make those connections and be able to talk to people without the social anxiety, to make the connections, to pitch the offers. This is what I would like to do. Would you like to be a part? Like, it's just changed my life so much and my functioning. So now I'm like a huge proponent of it. Like, all right, I'm a brand partner. I'm building my little team, but what I love about it is I'm getting to share the gospel through this too.
Oh, yes, definitely.
It is a neat ministry tool because when we talk about the light inside of our bodies, and I don't know how much your audience knows about this, but when we talk about the light that's inside of our bodies, I then can talk about the light that Jesus is, right? And how he brings light into the darkness and how he did it for me. He just permeated the darkness that I was living in for 4 years. It was a very long grief season that I walked through. And just reminding me even like I'm still here and I'm still present and I care about your health and I care about, your healing process. So it's a very beautiful analogy that he gave me with that.
Yeah, because the Lord wants us to heal. And we're not saying that this patch heals or treats or cures anything. And by the way,
Correct.
I would like to show everybody what it looks like. I used to say to myself, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And how is this tiny little thing going to build over 4,000 genes a day? But it does. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it doesn't heal, treat, or cure anything. But what it does is it rebuilds the body back to homeostasis because it's rebuilding over 4,000 genes a day. So when your brain started firing off and you started thinking, wow, I can do this and I can do that, it really showed you how it was just healing, right? It was just the body healing itself. So that's what I wanted to share with everybody, that, you're not going to put this patch on and it's going to heal you. God does the healing. This is a tool that we use to recreate the body back to where it was in the beginning, before things started happening. And now, Rebekah, you're fully restored. In Jesus' name.
Amen. There's so much still healing in my body. There's still so many things. Oh, that other thing too. I had bad sciatica developing in my lower back. And I was starting to think, oh no, I'm headed to my 40s. Now I get to have these kinds of things start setting in, right? And my hair turning gray because that runs in my family early. So I'm like feeling like my life is aging quite fast, and I still have a face that looks like a barely 20-something-year-old. You know what I mean? So, here is a confusing mess going on inside of my body. But one of the things that I noticed was the pain in my lower back stopped. It used to run down my legs and everything because sciatica is the worst. If you have sciatica, it's
Mm.
terrible. But it used to run down my legs at night. It would keep me up at night, started interrupting with my sleep, and that's gone. I haven't had it anymore. And that was about month 3 or 4 that I started noticing that really repairing. And then my hair started growing back in my color, not the
Oh yeah,
gray.
that's the first thing you notice is my
Yes.
mother's on these patches, and she was like, "What's going on back here?" She's like,
Yep.
"It's all the color that I used to be." And I will say this: I do have to get my hair colored more often, but it's so worth it to be able to have that health and wellness, to be able to, like if for some reason I sprang a wrist because I'm a roller skater, or something happens, I don't go to the doctor. I go to the Lord and ask for healing, and I use the tools that He's given me to help my body heal itself. So I've had
Well,
lots of instances too.
and considering the fact too that we are in this really strange time where, medicine and medical is not always accessible to everyone. I mean, I don't even have insurance, okay? So I have to be very selective when I go to the doctor. And I think I probably am a majority more than what we think. Like people who have a lot of money, people who have a lot of status, and can just pay for whatever they need to. That's great and all. But in the neurodivergent community with us, unless we're on some kind of Medicaid program with the state, which not everybody is eligible, there's like so many nuances there too, and criteria and stuff. Um, I probably can resonate with a lot of more people out there who are like uninsured and they just don't talk about it because there's like stigma behind that. You know what I mean? So
Amen.
so when I was praying about all of this, I told the Lord specifically, I don't want to have to run to doctors for every little thing that I've got going on. Is there something out there that will do the healing process itself, right? By supporting my body in that wellness and that healing process so that I'm healthier in general. When you're healthier, you save money. You don't have to go to the doctor as often. You don't have to pay these exorbitant bills, which I know I've been there and I'm doing it right now from my before the patches when I went to the doctor and had to pay in all these bills, right? And so I needed something that was going to be affordable, that I could invest in myself, and that I could continue as a way it gets better and better and better over time. So these are the things I prayed for. And then they came across my path, and I'm just like, okay, that was really specific. Like a specific answer that you gave me, which is really
Yeah.
powerful. Another thing to share. So I have customers that I have been working very closely with their health things, their issues that they have that they're, trying to tackle. And we got a report today, and I was given permission to share this. So I have a customer with I think it's hyperthyroid. And one of the things was the challenge of getting those numbers normal, right? So I have it in front of me. I'm not going to share it on here, but we were just going through the doctor reports, the blood work, and all of that after 1 month that my client was on these patches, and everything is normal, or it is right there at the normal door. So what we're like super excited to see 3 months down the road from now to see if the thyroid's going to be completely balanced out. And
Wow.
that is an amazing testimony of an actual person who wore these things and got tested. And the
Well, now
doctors are
you work
like,
in the autistic community, and you remember the 17-year-old that just recently wrote his name on a spelling board. 17 years
mm-hmm,
old. He suffered with autism and not being able to communicate. His
mm-hmm.
teachers are like, "Whoa, what happened?" He was
Mm-hmm.
able to write his name on a spelling board. I mean, that is just amazing. We're seeing so many things where the brain is rebuilding the cells, the master cells, And
Right.
we have to have that master cell. We lose those master cells when we're in our 30s, we've lost over 60%. And when we're in our 70s and 80s, we've lost all of the ability to fight off disease and illness. So it's no wonder that you see people with canes and you see people that are having hard times. But nowadays, Rebekah, wouldn't you agree that it's much better to look into the holistic approach of being able to get the body back to homeostasis? Because let's face it, people don't trust the doctors anymore. Now, I know there's some good doctors out there, and I'm not picking on any doctors. Some have saved my mom's life. Some have saved my dad's life, my brothers. We have good doctors. But my point is, if you can go the holistic way, why not try to do that first? Because
Right.
wouldn't you believe that all the stories that you've heard, that it's just covering up the symptoms and we're over medicated? It's not that we don't need certain things that are available to us, but we don't need to be over medicated. And what I love about this
Right.
patch is it doesn't go in the bloodstream. I want to say that because I want everybody to understand this does not go in the bloodstream.
Nothing's going inside your body. No.
It's just activating that master cell.
Yep.
And
it's remarkable.
About that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've enjoyed just learning the science. I am a science nerd and I love biotech. I've been fascinated with it from the time they started talking about it out there. And I've always loved also just the fact that you can have a combination of these two things together, right? Science has just advanced so much for us to understand what's going on with the body. And I think the founder of these, being divinely inspired, truly looking at his story, looking at the backstory has been amazing. And I've enjoyed sharing it with people that, end up becoming my customers, right? But the light, the fact that our bodies already have that light inside of us, and that he was given the divine insight to know that light can reflect back inside of your body off a chemical compound, it makes sense to my brain. My brain goes, ooh, yes, because those are the chemicals that would be inside of the patch that would reflect light. So it bounces, boom, right off. That makes a lot of sense to my brain. And so when I heard that, I knew this is very revolutionary, very innovative, an invention. And I compared it, on my Facebook to like Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb when everybody was used to using candles. I made a statement of that. I don't know if it was even showing in the algorithm. I don't know. But truly, when we think about innovation, we're making things better than what they are. Yet so many of us will settle with the old way, the original way, and not be willing to move forward with innovation. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's, what is it going to do to me? Is it just a fad? Right? But I had to push past all of that in my mindset. I had to tell myself, wait a minute. I'm looking at all the reasons why it won't work, which is why I waited 2 years. Which I wish I didn't do. I would be further along. I'd be 2 years further along. However, just don't do what I did. But if I would have not allowed my skeptic brain to just control my logic brain, then I think I would have made the decision sooner because it would have made sense. I'm going by logic, not emotionalism. Right? And so that is what really helped me kind of weigh this. Yes, like you said, doctors are great. They've got all this training. They know a lot of stuff. They're amazing. I know some amazing doctors and nurses and other health practitioners. But I don't think it's necessarily them that's the issue. I think it's the medical establishment. It's the pharmaceutical industry. Mm-hmm. They're trying to profit off of the health and well-being of people, right?
Right.
At extraordinary amounts, right? Now, someone might say the same thing about the patches. They might say, oh, well, the company owners are profiting off of these too. But let's look at what the owner is doing with the profits that he's making. All I had to do was look into his life and what he's doing. He's putting money back into research. He's inventing more things. He's an inventor. So he's not just looking at this as a money grab. He's going, how can I help people? How can I provide what people need? And that means if I have to take the majority of the profits I'm making, give bonuses and help others make, a living and help with some of this inflation stuff, then I'm going to give them, which they're generous. They're very generous. I've enjoyed seeing how generous they are. Thank you, David. Thank you, David Schmidt.
A little bit helps, right? And the thing is,
it does.
A humanitarian who even came over and flew his drone to the different areas of the hurricane and gave us patches and water and food because he drove, so and now he's created a water machine that is coming out at the end of February. So super excited about that. And it's hydrogenated water and it's infused with light. Who would have known that there would be something created like that? So it's definitely something that you can look at and say, wow, God definitely used him to help so many people to heal. And that's what it's all about. The Lord wants us to heal.
And more than ever in this time and age where we have so much more chemicals and we're being bombarded with unnatural elements, I think that's why he did this. I think that's why he created, he infused that knowledge into David to create this because he knew the world was going to need it to function. Yeah. We're needing more and more to function. You used to be able to just go outside, get sunlight, there's your vitamin D. But you have all these other things fighting against just the natural stuff you would normally do. Now, I have nothing against supplements. I have nothing against other things that people are doing. One of the things I noticed, though, is you can start one supplement over here for this one thing or these two things, and then keep stacking supplements. And then over here for this thing, you have to stack more supplements. And then I hear these people saying, oh, well, I'm on this and this and this and this and this. And I'm just like,
and the body's just going crazy with all these supplements.
The supplements, maybe the absorption rate's not really that great on those things. I'm not speaking against any supplements in anything particular, just the fact that this is how the industry is, right? And so then you end up with the cost of all those supplements. They can go upwards to like $600 a month of extra just to keep your wellness going on top of your health insurance, right?
Right.
So when you think about, what we have and what we're offering people, it's like, okay, you're saving money because you're healthier than you've ever been in your life. You're saving money because we have an amazing, generous customer referral program. I just realized, I just recently tapped into and was like, oh, wow, people can actually earn free patches. People can earn free product through just referrals. I mean, he really set this up nicely with generous types of thinking that's different than other companies that are out there. And I am not a network marketing person, not usually, but I can see why he placed this within that kind of a framework, because to communicate this requires a lot of relationship. It does, because you're telling your personal story with someone and how these actually helped you. You don't get that when you have something at Walmart on the shelf and you pick it up and you go, oh, what is this? I guess I'll try it. There's very little instructions.
If you on the shelf at Walmart, nobody would really know what it was. And then I wanted to also piggyback before we end the show here, because we have just a few minutes, but the seller guides that he created with 10 different supplements in it is giving me those supplements every day, costing me $69 a month. And I don't have to worry about like all these supplements. It's a little scoop a day in my water. So he's created something that will get people to drink their water and also not have to use any stimulants or anything, and we'll get our natural potassium and magnesium. And I want to say this, we all need to have NAC. He's a big, huge person of NAC, which is a natural antibiotic that a lot of people should use. So for me, I'm not spending $200 a month. I'm spending $69 a month, and I have a container full, and it's 10 supplements a day. So that's also something he created. So the things that he's creating is because he wants to get people healthy. You know, the water machine helps us drink our water, and it helps us stay healthy. And the Cellergize gives us our supplements, and the patches, they rebuild 4,000 stems, genes a day, and cells are master cells a day. So anything else that you have to say before we end the show today, Rebekah? I'm so happy about your Chatty Audie show, and I want to tell everybody where they can see you on Empower Me TV, right next to Netflix. We're just right next door. It's so amazing. We've definitely upgraded from Q Vision Television to Empower Me TV. And it's just been an amazing journey. What are you looking forward to with that in the future?
I'm really grateful to have that platform. I think it's a blessing for sure, and I'm excited to get to share my story here, and wherever this is going to go. But yeah, if anybody here is like, these patches, I need to hear more. My inbox is open. I'd love to talk with you. Also with life coaching services, because we do a lot of healing process there too. The Lord works through that.
So, Rebekah, I've enjoyed this time together. I see how the Lord has totally restored everything that the devil tried to take away from you. I would like for you to, in our last few minutes together, just share your heart. If people are interested in getting with you and finding out more about this technology, share your information, but share your heart. I know you've shared with me before that you went through such a struggle with the devil trying to take your life. And I just would like to just go over that just real quick, and then send out your information to everyone so that they can get with you and get on this beautiful technology.
Thank you. So one of the things that I have learned in, 30 something years of walking with the Lord and experiencing the highs, the lows, right? The valleys, is that if the enemy, our enemy, mutual enemy, Satan, Lucifer, however you want to name him, if he cannot take a Christian out in any other area, which he has tried to discourage me to permanence, to bring me back to depression, to other things I've struggled with within PTSD, if he cannot do that and cannot accomplish that, I've learned that he tries to go after your health. And I think it's a powerful revelation. I think it's something we need to recognize, that when we're getting sicker in life and things just seem to be developing into, an infirmity, right? It goes from just being a little bit sick to then being chronically sick. There is an indication that the enemy is really fighting hard against you because he sees you as a threat to the kingdom. And I can resonate with that. That's what happened to me. That's what I felt, that there was like this severe pushback going on, where he's like, darn, I can't get her to stop coaching. I can't get her to stop sharing the gospel with people. I can't stop the people who are coming to Jesus as a result of this. I can't stop her from sharing the light and the message of Jesus as the light of the world. So the only thing I can do is attack her health. And maybe she'll stop speaking, stop pursuing people, talking to people, encouraging people. Like, I just got to take her out in her health. And then I win, right? And for a while, he was. He had me so discouraged that I didn't think that I'd ever come back out of it. And so I started coming into this settling place of trying to find contentment in my new normal. Does that make sense? That if you can't fight it, you just settle into it and you just go, okay, I can't defeat this. I don't have the victory over this. I don't know why, but I'm not finding victory. I think I should just maybe learn how to cope and live in this new normal of mine. And if this is how it is the rest of my life, then I'm just going to do the best that I can and just pray that the Lord will have mercy and continue to fill in the gaps that are not there. And he sure did do that over the last 4 years of my life. Before these patches came and he kind of gave me a little bit more of a boost, like, all right, I'm going to give you something now that is going to help support your wellness, right? Because you've passed this, whatever it is, a test or whatever, right? It's like however God wants to do it to build your resilience, to encourage you in ways that you are discouraged and to help you learn how to persevere through those trials, right?
Amen.
I had to go through that for 4 years of that perseverance and that resistance and resilience. And it helped me become, I think, a person who doesn't look at those trials the same way anymore. It's more of like if I'm seeing that resistance, I know what's happening. I'm more wise to it. I've grown in wisdom in that area. And so, right? And so with the clarity added to the wisdom, the spiritual wisdom, right? And these things supporting my mind working better and healthier, then yeah, sorry, Lucifer, you haven't won.
You lost.
You lost.
You lost another one.
Yep, you lost another one, and there's a lot more souls to be saved through this. So
amen, Rebekah. That was so well spoken. And
no.
Even though all the stuff that we had going on, we just fought right through it. Devil, you have no jurisdiction in this at all. And I just love how we fought through it, how we've gotten to where we are right now. And so yeah, send out your information so that our viewers can get in touch with you and find out how they can get some coaching or get on this light therapy. It's amazing what's out there right now, and we don't know. And that's what it is. Our job is to teach and educate people so that they can heal their own bodies.
Yes, amen. So the best way to contact me would be on Facebook if you're on Facebook. If you're watching this and you don't have a Facebook account, which is under Rebekah Josann, you'll see it in the Kingdom Believers Network because I'm in there. I do have 2 Rebekah Josann accounts. One is my tech and Lady Gadget one, and then the other one is my coaching one. You can see them pretty distinctly when you go to them. And then if you want to just email me as a super simple way, you can email me at Rebekah Josann, same spelling of my name that you can see in this group, at gmail.com. That's probably the most simplest, easiest way to reach me. And then you can also check out my website, which it's always getting updated because I play around with it a lot. But you can go to my website, www.RebekahJosann.com. I try to keep things real simple.
Thank you so much for being on Living a Healthy Lifestyle Show with your favorite holistic health coach, Carrie Kay, and Rebekah, a woman of God. Love you, girl.
Love you too. Bye.
God bless.
Bye, everyone.